Y aquí están los ingredientes que necesitamos. Here are all the ingredients that you need. So I'm gonna go slowly all over them. Take notes. Take notes. And remember, this is a seafood boil. You can add or take out anything that you don't like. Recuérdese que esto es un boil de seafood. Te puede sacarle lo que no le guste o añadirle otra cosa que a usted le guste. Igual con los seasonings. Si no le gusta alguno de los seasonings, lo deja afuera. If you don't like any of these seasonings also, you just leave that out. And it will be about the same. So here are all the ingredients. Feel free to modify it as you fit. So let's start here. We're gonna start right here with obviously it's like king crab or snow crab. Actually, these are snow crabs clusters. So I have about 3 of them in there. 3 snow crab clusters. Tengo aquí 3 patas de estos cangrejos king crab o snow crabs. Usted puede echarle cualquiera de los dos. You can use snow crab or king crab. I have 2 lobster tails here. I have 2 lobster tails here. And I have, tengo 2 rabitos de langosta. Tengo 2 rabitos de langosta. Y tengo aquí las bocas de la langosta. So I also have here the lobster claws. A bunch of them, about 6 of them. 6 or 7 of those beautiful lobster claws. And I have about a dozen of clams. These are chowder clams. So look at how massive this is. It's almost the size of my hand. So these are chowder clams, big chowder clams. Aquí tengo una almeja bien grande. Look at el tamaño de eso, casi la mitad de mi mano. It's half of my hand. And I also added some about half a cup of baby clams that I bought separately. Y también añadí una media taza de almejas pequeñas que las vamos a poner en el sopón. Aquí tenemos about 30 to 35 shrimps. Tenemos 30 a 35 camarones. These are the colossal ones, big ones. I think these are like 12 to 14. That's the number. And I have others that are like 16 to 20. So aquí tengo unos camarones 16, 20. Estos pequeños y 12, 14. Estos grandes. So in total, I have about 30, 35 shrimps in there. So en total tengo como 30 a 35 camarones. Lo que a mí me gusta es quitarle toda esta parte. So I'm going to peel this all the way to here. And I'm only going to leave the little tip here at the end. So yo le quito toda esta parte, pero le dejo la puntita para que se vean bonitos en el asopado. Entonces aquí tenemos mussels, mejillones. So I have about 20 to 30 mussels. That is the whole pack, the way they sell it. So estos son las mejillones, así que la venden. Yo tengo aquí como 20 a 30 creo. So estos se van a abrir luego que estén cocinados. So 20 to 30 mussels, 20 a 30 mejillones. Tengo aquí un cup de fresh cilantro. I have un cup de cilantro fresco. You could also use parsley, but I like cilantro. So if you like parsley better, you can substitute this with parsley. Si te gusta más el parsley, el perejil, sustituirlo por ahí, pero a mí me gusta más el cilantro. Obviamente necesitamos 2 bolsas de hacerla en el horno. I use 2 bags. So I usually use 2 bags because they tend to break with these claws, these pointy claws. So I use 2 bags just to play it safe. So yo uso 2 bolsas porque quiero estar seguro que no se me rompan, pero you don't have to use 2. No tienes que usar 2. So about 3 corn ears here, the full corn cob here, and these I'm gonna cut them in 3 pieces each. So it's gonna be 9 pieces. I'm gonna cut in smaller pieces. It's gonna go in there. 2 full bars of butter, 2 barras completas de mantequilla, salted butter, has to be salted butter, 2 bars of those, about 2 zanahorias here, to have 2 medium-sized carrots here, 2 carrots, about 5 red potatoes, about mid-size, medium-size. I have about 5 of them. These we're gonna cut them in half, and I have 2 limes, or you could use 2 lemons. This is your preference. I like limes better. And I have 2 pork sausages here. 2 salchichas de cerdo. So 2 limones, o lo puedes mezclar o cambiar por limón amarillo, pero a mí me gusta el verde. Y tengo los 2 links de pork sausage. 2 links of pork sausage that we're going to slice in little chunks to throw in there as well. And that's all. Those are all the ingredients in terms of what's going to go in the in the pan, they're in the bag. But now we're gonna go to the seasoning. So I'm using wine here. This is actually real wine that I actually drink. So you could use cooking wine if you prefer. But since I have wine here, I'm gonna use this one. So it's gonna be half a cup of any wine of your preference. And if you can't take alcohol, then just don't put the wine in there. Si no puedes ponerle alcohol, pues no le ponga entonces vino. Any of these ingredients are optional. So remember, you can leave any of these out. They're not optional, but if you leave one out, it's fine. No es que sean opcionales, pero si te dejas solamente uno fuera, no hay problema. So aquí tenemos el vino, va a ser medio cup, so half a cup of wine, the wine that you like. And this is something that I have, this is my own seasoning. And some people use Old Bay seasoning. Alguna gente usa un sazón que se llama Old Bay seasoning for this thing. I don't like it that much, so I did my own seasoning here. But if you don't have something like this or Sazón Goya or anything like that, you can use Old Bay seasoning instead of this one. So this is kind of a substitute for Old Bay seasoning. So esto es un sustituto para Old Bay seasoning. Y este seasoning y la sal, so the seasoning and the salt is going to be 1 full tablespoon. 1 full tablespoon. So aquí tengo el tamaño, tablespoon. Entonces seguimos por aquí, tenemos sriracha. Tenemos anato, o usted puede usar paprika. You can use paprika, or like I'm using here in anato. And fresh ground pepper. These three are gonna be 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of each of these 3. So una cucharadita de esos 3. Y aquí va a ser rosemary, crushed red pepper, and liquid smoke. Aquí tenemos romero, tenemos crushed red pepper, y tenemos humo líquido. So de los 3 va a ser media cucharadita, half a teaspoon of each of these 3. Half a teaspoon each of these 3. And I also have clavos. También tenemos clavos y le vamos a poner como 5. We're gonna put about 5 of these cloves in the bag as well. So these are all the ingredients. Feel free to stop the video and rewind so you can take notes of everything. And remember, if you want to substitute anything, feel free to do so. If you want to leave something out, it's up to you. Aquí cortamos. Ahí está el pork sausage. Y esto lo ponemos ya mismo al lado. Le voy a enseñar qué hacer con esto. I'm going to show you what to do. Okay, so here are the ingredients. So I kind of cut them the way I want them. So I'm going to go over it. So aquí están los ingredientes como los corté que van a ir en la bolsa. So before we go with the shrimps and the lobster, I'm gonna put all the limes in there. I'm gonna squeeze the lemon in there so it gets the juice of the lemon. So for the lobster, all you want to do is split them in half. So I got this little lobster here, I'm going to split it in half. So kind of split it like that. With a good knife, con un buen cuchillo, vamos a cortar por la mitad. Tiene que ser un buen cuchillo. Si no, no va a funcionar. So una vez que rompamos aquí, mantenemos la presión. Vamos hasta abajo, ¿eh? Ahí tenemos lobster. Goes in there. Same thing with the other one. Ahí con el otro. Lobster here. So remember, if you see this vein here, you gotta clean that vein. You don't want to eat that for sure. Okay, so we're gonna clean this underwater too. So I cleaned it underwater, and now it goes to the bottom. So with the shrimps, like I said, I like to peel them off all the way to the tip. So I like to leave the tip on just a tip. So what you do, lo que hacemos es que vamos a pelar la parte de acá. Cuando lleguemos aquí al chip, you cut it like that. So you make sure to only take this part and you leave the tip because that looks beautiful when it's cooked, okay? So I'm gonna do the same with the rest of them. Voy a hacer lo mismo con el resto de los que están aquí y luego van para la bolsa. So I'm gonna do the same, peel them, and then I'm gonna put them in the bag. These are all rinsed off and I'm gonna put them right in the bag, just like that. Lo ponemos en la bolsa, así mismito como están ya listos para cocinar. Ahora vamos a hacer la parte del sazón. Before that, like I said, I'm gonna kind of sear the sausage. So primero que eso, vamos a sellar nuestro sausage. Vamos a coger aquí un frying pan, un sartencito. Lo calentamos. Tan pronto eso caliente, vamos a tirar nuestro sausage there. So we're gonna put the sausage in there. And we're just gonna sear it like for about 2 minutes, just to make sure that it doesn't break in the bag. So vamos a freír para que se selle por todas partes como por 2 minutos, solamente para estar seguro que no se nos rompa en la bolsa. This is ready for the bag. We turn the heat off, and we're gonna put this in the bag. So right from the frying pan, we let it rest like for a minute with no heat. So vamos a descansar un poquito como 1 minuto y esto está listo para la bolsa. So vamos a echarlo just there. In the bag it goes. En la bolsa ahí es que va. So here we have the butter. So we're gonna cut them in chunks like that. That goes in the bag. You wanna throw in different spots. That's better. But it's all gonna go in the bag. Just like that. Everything goes in the bag. Todo va en la bolsa. Easy, right? Everything goes in the bag. So now we're gonna go to the seasoning. So I have the cloves here, clavito, unas 5 o 6. Y vamos a echarle half a teaspoon of rosemary, media cucharadita de romero ahí, media cucharadita de red pepper flakes, half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and half a teaspoon of liquid smoke. So we add a full teaspoon of fresh ground pepper, full teaspoon there, full teaspoon of annatto or paprika. You could use paprika if you want small paprika, is better. And a full teaspoon of sriracha. Whoops, a little bit more. So we have a full tablespoon, una cucharada grande de este seasoning que yo tengo, que es lo mismo que Old Bay seasoning. If you like Old Bay seasoning, then you can add 1 teaspoon. I'm putting 1 tablespoon of this one here because Old Bay might be a little stronger. So una cucharada de el seasoning y una cucharada de sal. Tablespoon of salt as well. Tablespoon of salt goes in there. And I'm gonna put a full cup of wine. So this is half cups. I'm gonna do 2 of these. So a cup of wine. Here you have 1. 2, which is 1 cup. 1 cup of any red wine that you like. So we take the cilantro, about a cup. Cilantro or parsley, whatever you like. So you take about a cup, como una taza de cilantro o perejil, lo que más le guste. We're gonna chop this. Doesn't have to be too small. No tiene que ser muy pequeño. And then from here it just goes in the bowl with the rest of the seasoning. So here's our pile of seafood. It's a huge pile. Seafood and all the rest of the ingredients in there. Aquí está nuestra montaña de seafood en la bolsa. Bastante seafood ahí. Y lo que vamos a hacer, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour all this all over our seafood. Just like that. So everybody's happy in there. So we're gonna make sure everybody's happy in there. I'm gonna pour all that all over it. And that should do it. We're gonna try to move a little bit. You gotta be careful with the tips because these might break. These might break your bag. So be careful that doesn't happen. But you want to make sure that the flavor's not all over. And all that butter is gonna melt all over this thing. So halfway through the cooking, we're gonna try to flip the bag upside down so we ensure that liquid goes everywhere. So a la mitad de cocinar vamos a tratar de mover la bolsa, voltearla para que todo ese líquido lo cojan todas las partes del seafood. Ok, esto está listo para el horno. Look how beautiful that looks in there. Everybody's happy and everybody's gonna be even happier after cooking. So, todos están contentitos en la bolsa y todos van a estar más contentitos luego de cocinarse. So, just like I told you, como les dije, le puse una bolsa y usted ve como este claw aquí, con esas espinas, it broke the bag here. So me rompió la bolsa aquí. So now I'm gonna have to use a second bag to overline this. Vamos a la segunda bolsa para ir por afuera con mucho cuidado. You gotta be very careful. So here I line it with a second bag. So I put a second bag over the first bag. So le puse la segunda bolsa con mucho cuidado. Imagine your oven. So you always use a roasting pan like this to catch any liquids that come out of it. Siempre necesitas un pan como este hondo, por si acaso esa bolsa se rompe. Tengamos donde recolectar esos jugos y que no se nos haga un reguero en el horno. So we're gonna put this bag on a roasting pan and it goes in the oven 375 degrees, 375 grados Fahrenheit, 375 Fahrenheit. Look at that, fit exactly there. So this is gonna go in the oven 375, 45 minutes to an hour. That depends on probably the potatoes are the ones that need more time. So 45 a una hora. Las papas son lo más tiempo que necesitan. Usted más o menos, como yo las corté por la mitad, I cut them in half exactly because of that, so they should cook fast. So there you have it. We'll just wait. So after 30 minutes, luego de 30 minutos, yo quiero ver cómo se va viendo. So after 30 minutes, I want to see how it's looking. So I'm going to take it out and I'm going to flip that upside down so all the liquids go to the other side. Lo vamos a voltear para que todos los líquidos también cojan por el otro lado. So vamos a sacarlo un momento, lo chequeamos y lo volvemos a poner. Ya tenemos 30 minutos in. We are at the 30-minute mark. I'm going to flip this upside down. Vamos a voltear esto al revés. Gotta use something like this because this is super hot. And try to be careful not to break the bag. And just like that. Now we're gonna cook them on the other side for another 20 to 30 minutes. I'm gonna toast the potatoes here. The potatoes are still hard. So I'm gonna leave it another 30 minutes. Las papas siguen un poco duras, so vamos a dejarlo como por 30 minutos. We're gonna get these biscuits ready. So what I'm gonna do with these biscuits, lo que yo voy a hacer con estos biscuits es que los voy a hacer normal, pero los voy a infuse con el líquido del seafood boil. I'm gonna infuse these biscuits with the seafood boil liquid. All those liquid that come off that seafood boil, I'm gonna infuse them in here. So it's gonna absorb some of that and then I'm gonna cook them. So I took him out of the package, lo saqué del paquete, and now I'm gonna just pour some of that liquid all over them. Vamos a echar un poco de ese líquido todo por encima. Let it soak a little bit, and then bake them as per the label. So after an hour, luego de una hora, we're gonna pull it out of the oven, and we're gonna verify that everything is done. Y vamos a verificar que todo está hecho. So I kind of want to flip it upside down again to let all those liquids go back on the rest of the stuff. So vamos a flipearlo al revés. Con cuidado. Está caliente. And put them upside down, just like that. Let it rest a little bit. Vamos a dejar que descanse un poquito. So I'm going to drain some of this liquid for the biscuits. Vamos a sacar un poquito de líquido aquí para los biscuits. Luego lo ponemos de nuevo en la bandeja. So we drain some of that liquid. So here I have the biscuits. Aquí tenemos los biscuits. Vamos a echar un poco de ese líquido que botaron, que todo se mueve un poquito. I'm gonna infuse them a little bit with the liquid. And ready for the oven. I'm gonna give you like 5 minutes. So I gave it about 5 minutes to soak up some of that liquid. So le di como 5 minutos para que se chupara el líquido. Y ahora van para el horno. 11 a 15 minutos 375. 11 to 15 minutes 375 in the oven. So now I'm gonna drain the rest of the liquid and then pour our stuff for serving. Drain all the liquid. So at this point I have drained all the liquid. Yo le saqué todo el líquido en este momento. Y lo que vamos a hacer es sacarlo de la bolsa en ese mismo bowl. So right now you just cut the bag out of there. Careful that everything stays in there. Aquí lo vamos a mojar una vez más y lo vamos a poner en nuestra bandeja. So from here we're gonna wet it one more time. And then you're gonna go in the platter for serving. And from here, I just like to pour some of that liquid with all that flavor all over it. Aquí yo lo que voy a echarle el líquido, que todo coja ese líquido, ese sabor por todas partes. So you go slowly and you take that liquid and pour all over the seafood pile. So ese líquido se lo echamos por toda la... This is how it should look. Now this is ready for serving, so I'm gonna add the biscuits in a minute. Vamos a añadir los biscuits por el ladito y we are ready. And here are the biscuits infused with the seafood liquid. Here you go. Biscuits infused with the seafood liquid. And here's the platter. So this is how it should look on your table. Enjoy it.